The Golden Boot Pod is proud to announce that merchandise is now available. We have everything from t-shirts and hoodies, to hats and beanies, to drinkware, to wearables and blankets. You can find it all under the merchandise tab at thegoldenboot.podbean.com or go directly to thegoldenboot.com. As always, thank you for supporting the Golden Boot Pod.
The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole. Hey, welcome to another edition of the Golden Boot Podcast. It's your boy Pooh Bell. I got my man Aunt Petty Murphy in the building. We got Chris Honeybun in the building. Daniel D. Williams in the building. And first off, good evening, everybody. How everybody doing on this fine Sunday?
What's happening with y'all?
What's going on with y'all today?
Can't call
First off, let's go ahead. Congratulations to Trey Holly, the new king of LSU rushing in the state of Louisiana. He is now at 87.05 plus. Congratulations to him, the future Tiger. And also congratulations to Albert Pujols currently of the St. Louis Cardinals for hitting home run number 700 on Friday night. Both gentlemen accomplished these goals on Friday night. Trey Holly did it in spectacular fashion. He said he was going to do it by game 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, before the season, he did an interview and said, "I'm gonna break the record on game 4." Well, now game 5, because game 5 is a home game. Well, they moved game 4 to be a home game, and he broke it game 4, like he said originally. So.
Gotcha. So, hey, congratulations to him. Calling this shot, that's impressive. That's probably about as impressive as it's more impressive than the Babe Ruth, because that's harder to do.
Yeah, man. Sheldon Sampson too.
He did. He set the Catholic high all-time receiving yards. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's north of 7,000. So
yeah.
So
they did good. Trey Holly broke his on a touchdown.
Yeah, he if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he did. Well, see, it was crazy because he needed like 12 yards and they was like 9 yards away. Well, then they had a penalty, a false start, and you can say it was accidentally, you can say it was on purpose, but it got him enough yards to where whenever he scored that touchdown, it broke the record on the touchdown. So it was fitting for Trey.
All right. Last night, LSU took on the Mexico Lobos, and it was a dominating finish. The score may not be exactly what we wanted, but the defense put on a show. There were a lot of penalties, and the offense showed up. They did some things that we expected them to do or wanted them to do. So let's kind of look at that. If you look, and it's funny because I didn't look at this initially. The passing yards for New Mexico, they were 5 or 7 for 47 yards. That's impressive. But Jaden went 24, 29, 279. Garrett Nussmeyer, not Nussmeyer, came in the game. He went 9 of 10 for 135 and a touchdown. And the one he missed wasn't off by much. It was actually a really good pass. Garrett looked a lot better.
Yeah. Garrett showed why that competition was so close during camp. Playing like that, it looked like he can give Jaden a run for his money as the starter, but he just got to do it consistently.
Yeah. Now moving on to the rushing, Noah Kane had a big night. 11 carries, 94 yards. He had a long of 49, which he broke, bust through, broke several tackles. I'm not even gonna say a few, broke several tackles, and on his way. Armani Goodwin was having a good night himself until he ended up what looked like a hamstring. I don't know if BK said in the press afterwards.
He came back from the locker room, so that looked like a good sign that maybe if it was a more closer game, then he could have been able to come back in if needed.
So, Josh Williams is. I don't know about y'all. Josh Williams growing on me.
That's my dog, bro.
I truly enjoy watching him play. Jaden had 9 rushes for 37 yards, but he sat in the pocket for a long time, waiting for stuff to get open. John Emery, a lot of people are looking for him to emerge. 9 carries, 45 yards, but he had a fumble late in the game that was not helpful to his cause. So let's start there. John Emery, because Chris, I know you asked this. Can he emerge as RB1? He's had to fight through suspension. He's had to fight through depth chart. Even back in his freshman year, it was he showed a lot of promise, and then things got bad with Joe Burrow. So
right, yeah, Joe wanted him out the game, to get, because he missed the block, which I thought was kind of petty. He was a freshman, and it kind of slowed him down. So
is it petty, or is it Joe demanding perfection and excellence? Like, if you look at that 2019 team, that's why they were so good, is because everybody executed when they were supposed to, and missing a block it messed up the whole play. So I don't think it was necessarily petty. I think it was just Joe showing him what it takes to be where he need to be on that level.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can't go against Joe. If he thought you were doing something wrong, he probably would. I don't think they should have just not let him play, for the rest of us.
I'll say this.
Well, I think part of it was he couldn't catch out the backfield, very well as a freshman. He couldn't see. He couldn't see the ball coming his way.
I'll say this. Joe vouched for Chris Curry for the Oklahoma game, and he had a game.
Yeah,
he had a game in the Oklahoma game. So I think Joe can spot it. I can see Joe after his playing career. A lot of players are going to be commentators. I can see he being a head coach somewhere, offensive coordinator, head coach somewhere. Hey, we'll see.
But I think Emery, I think he can. They got to give him carries, which he been getting carries. I think he led in carries last week.
He had 9 to yesterday.
Yeah,
which
he had opportunities. He just got to make the most.
Say big pressure. Lamar Williams says Emery can't be RB1 fumbling.
They're facts.
So and I get what you're saying, Chris. I'm trying to see. No, he didn't have a catch. But he did have, like I said, he had 9 carries. So
I still think Emery the most talented back on the team. I think we got to just get him going. He been missing a lot of time, so I think he's still trying to work his way in and get right.
As much as I want Emery to play and see him and to see what he can do and him to have that opportunity, what does Emery give you that Armani Goodwin doesn't?
I mean, Armani good. I just think, like I said, I think Emery the more loosest back. I think he can get out of trouble better. I just think he's the total package for the running back. Armani, I don't think Armani is shifty as Emery. Let me say that.
What are you basing that off? What from Emery?
I seen a couple flashes when he was a freshman. It's been a while.
Exactly. It's been a long
Yeah.
time. So how do we know he's still that guy?
Yeah.
So
Well, we got to put him in. We got to put him in position to get that swing pass again to see if he can do it again.
But Goodwin making the most of his opportunities. So it's hard for me to say that he shouldn't get the ball, and we need to feed Emory more when Goodwin doing more with his opportunities than Emory is so far.
Go. Pooh, can you pull up the Mississippi State game rushing stats from last week?
yeah, give me 1 second.
I want to look at them again before I say something. But I think did Emory lead and rush in carries that game against Mississippi State?
Yeah, he had 11. He had 11 carries against Mississippi State.
And Amani had what?
Amani had 9. Emory had 11 for 32. Amani had 9 for 76.
Yeah, he had that long run.
Yep.
That breakout run. Yeah. Hey, Emory he need to get loose one time like that, and I think he'll be back. He need to get loose one time like Amani did.
I mean, he's had opportunities. I'm just saying, I get what you're saying, and like I said, personally, I want to see him do it. But it goes back to the same thing with, and I'm not trying to open old wounds. Goes back to the same thing as Miles Brennan. I can't want it more than he does.
Yeah. I don't think Emory don't want it necessarily.
No, and I get. I mean, I'm not saying the want to be on the field or nothing like that. I mean, in the aspect of actually performing on the field.
Yeah, I think it's just a situation where, you got two guys who just, if you look at Goodwin and what Noah Kane did last night, you got two guys that right now they just got a hotter hand, and you just got to feed them until Emory hands start warming up, until he, till he take over that role of being the guy who making the most of his opportunities right now.
Yeah, they definitely got the hot hand, but I think Emory. I think Emory I think he's gonna start turning it up a little more as the season go on. I still think he's the best back on the team. He ain't showing it right now, but I think when he get going, he's gonna get going.
Okay. I don't want to argue that. But hold on. Here's the sorry, it took me a little time, but yeah, Jaden had 16 carries, he had 11. So 11 for 32. And he also had 2 catches. So
yeah. I think my boy gets it. I think he's gonna get it together. I think he's gonna show improvement as they go on.
Yeah. All right. So I will say this. Looking back, we had 38 yesterday, 31 against Mississippi State, and 65 against Southern, 23 against Florida State. I still stick by. We get 35. Nobody will beat us.
Well, Tennessee can get 35.
I understand, but the way our defense playing,
which I think we can beat Tennessee, even though you can't. Go ahead, my bad.
No, you go ahead.
Well, I think we can beat Tennessee because we had the better defense, and they ain't trying to look over Auburn. But if it come down to making a stop, I think we get a stop before they get a stop.
Yeah. So, first off, shout out to everybody in the chat. Sorry, I know we kind of talking and dealing with some stuff backstage, just trying to move these, stats and stuff over. But let me get to some of these comments. Travis Dyson says Emory is the most talented back on the team. Goodwin is my guy. I've been waiting for him to break out, and he seems right there on the verge.
Yep.
So
yeah.
I
like Goodwin. I like Goodwin though.
Side note that says Auburn packs, gentlemen. I'll wait till we get to our guests and stuff so we can talk to them, see how they feel about it and everything. And then I'm trying to see what else. Oh, LG's said the line is opened up and spread LSU -7.5 right now.
Who said that last night? It was me.
Man, I said -8.
I said 6.5 or 7.5. You agree with me?
Yeah, because I said -8 first, and then you said 6.5, 7. Because somebody said LSU was gonna open up as double-digit favorites, and I just didn't see that happening, man.
Blake. I
Yeah.
thought I pointed at Pooh, but that was Blake. Blake said it.
That's just man, that's a lot of points on the road, bro.
I trust me. I told you last night I would never pick LSU double digits against Auburn in Auburn.
Yeah,
No.
I just can't do it, bro.
And for those of you listening and watching, we looked it up. The last time that LSU has beaten Auburn by more than 7 points, not even double digits, more than 7 points
In Auburn.
Yeah. Was 1998. Then if you go to look at the time before that, 1973.
I was
Then
2
if you
years
go
old.
in what 73? I knew you was
98.
old. But then if you go back to even prior to that, it was like 1950 something. So beating Auburn in Auburn, beating Auburn in Auburn by more than 7 points is not that saying big, saying easier thing to do. But fellas, let's get to this. What are some things we liked about the game yesterday? About saying how we look.
Pitching the shutout. Yeah, pitching the shutout. I think go ahead.
We ain't seen a defense with this much speed in a while. Well, I ain't gonna say we didn't have the speed. They just didn't execute like this since 2019. Even then, this defense they flying around the field right now, dude.
I'm gonna say this. Hold on, Travis says no. 2003. 2003 for what, Travis? But no, I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna say we haven't seen a defense like this. We haven't seen organization. We hadn't seen scheme like this in a long time. It together. Aranda had that potential, but we all know Aranda was also handcuffed. So
I think I'm gonna go with what Pressure said too. JD thrown over the middle. That was seeing him looking more in rhythm in the past game, and Nuss too. Nuss looked a lot better and a lot more in control of the offense and a lot more comfortable back there. So just the progressions that the passing game made, I think that was a good sign coming out of that game that hopefully can roll over into Auburn.
Yeah. Don't tell Pressure that.
All right, so we held New Mexico to 2 first downs. They were 1 of 10 on third down. They had 88 total yards.
That's domination, bro.
That's good, bro.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, they had a long pass that was like 40-some yards. So, yeah.
I want to see some more picks, though. I want to see some picks.
Yeah, turnovers, period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had 41. We had them to 41 yards rushing on 26 attempts. 2 penalties, 14 yards for them. This is what another thing now let's get to things we didn't like. 5 penalties, 60 yards.
Yeah.
Penalties hurt us. Penalties cost us 14 points at minimum.
Yeah.
At minimum.
John Emery fumble too. I ain't really. I know in a game like that it ain't gonna hurt you, but you can't turn the ball over late in the fourth quarter against SEC opponents. That ain't
pull up Jason Brumfield comment.
All right. This team feels 2008-ish. Is that the one? 2018-ish.
Yeah. That's what it feel like. We sneak in and get a win against Tennessee that's on the road like we did Georgia.
Oh, we got Tennessee at home. So you mean Auburn?
I mean, like we did Georgia the same way at home. When
Georgia was at home 2018. And that's what
that was home.
We flipped Emery that game because he was committed to Georgia.
Yep.
The time possession these last 2 weeks has been very favorable to us. Yeah. So.
No, I'm just ready for the Auburn game. I looked a little bit at the New Mexico. I'm still high off the Mississippi State win too, so I still feel good about that.
All right, Tony Weaver. What's up, Tony? Tony asked this last night, and I don't think anybody asked him. He said, "What are your guys' thoughts on Converse at safety?"
Tony look like Grady off Sanford, son.
This dude really put that in his profile pic too.
don't know what that is. I thought that was a Halloween costume.
That
So
man look like Grady, bro.
A hibernating Santa.
Man, let Alizé stress him out too.
That's that picture on the right means you need to come. That means you need to come home, Tony. That's all that means, buddy.
Oh, inside joke.
Uh,
But get back on topic. I think Bernard was it Bernard Converse?
yeah.
I think he did an excellent job. I think the lineup we had on defense period was phenomenal. I'm looking forward to when Fouché get there. When we got Seven Banks actually fully playing, having
You said you said that. I'm glad you said that. Somebody said something about Major Burns was a little disrespectful. They don't see how he get back in the rotation once he gets healthy. If Fouché come back,
Well, Fouché got to play like people expect Fouché to play.
he got to play better than Major Burns. Major Burns been playing lights out. He got to exceed Major Burns. If we exceed Major Burns, playing very well.
So here, Brambo brings up the comment. He kind of brings it back to the Emory. He said Emory should get 18 carries versus Auburn. I'm ready for Converse to get back to corner and Fouché at safety. My question is, why should Emory get 18 carries? I'm not saying he's not what's call it, but what
probably
we've
ain't gonna
seen.
get there with Frank Wilson back there, man. He like to rotate.
Let me ask y'all this about the second part of his comment. I think Converse is kind of like Jay Ward playing safety. They got that coverage ability, as well as the safety business. They can play corner and safety, so if they need to, they can cover better. Do y'all think Fouché is gonna be a liability in coverage when he gets back? Like because we've had Jay back there, we've had guys who might, who have that corner ability. Do y'all think that it's gonna be a step down putting Fouché back there?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think Fouché has, from everything we've heard, Fouché look good in camp. As long as it doesn't drop, because when we moved Jay Ward to nickel and had Greg Brooks and Burns in safety, it was magic back there. Communication was smooth. Against Mississippi State, no issues.
But only reason I asked is because Fouché was used more like a box safety than the deep safety. So I don't know if he could transition into the deep safety role.
That's what he built, like a box safety. Like
Exactly. What I'm saying. Yeah. But him playing deep, I don't know if that's gonna be beneficial for how he his skill set. But
Pressure brings up a good point. Pressure says Burns calls the defense, so he gets to be started when he's healthy. But Travis Dyson says, I don't see it. Burns always in position, but hardly makes the play. I don't.
What you been watching, bro?
I don't agree with that.
What you been watching?
Against Mississippi State, the play he got hurt. I think that was a fourth down play he made.
Travis got to be from my area because he got my boy from Kentwood on his profile pic. But Travis, you're wrong. Major Burns been everywhere. He's been all over the field.
You got a guy from Kentwood.
No, that's
Eli Ricks.
Yeah, that's Durant.
Oh, that's Ricks. Okay, I'm thinking that's Shaheem Carter. But he got that Dyson last night.
Hey, Chris, get your glasses. Get your. Trying to see what else. We got our guys with Down South Football Podcast. They'll be joining us in about 5 minutes. I'm trying to see. Brambo says Goodwin is hurt. So we actually talked about that. He came back. So it doesn't look like he's necessarily fully hurt.
I do think we throw the ball way too much.
Said Goodwin is hurt. Emory came in hurdling guys, but only got 9 carries and was just getting warmed up. But Brambo, does the fumble not concern you? And I'm not saying that every running back that fumbles that should be pulled, but does that not concern you? Because it's not like this is a first time thing. I don't think. I mean, okay. Do y'all get what I'm saying?
I'll tell you this: Alvin Kamara fumble today. You gonna keep him away from the ball until he fumble?
No, but Alvin Kamara hadn't shown me that he's missed blocks or.
Well, let me ask you this.
Drops
Let me ask you
passes, or
this.
that he's
Do you have
consistently
another?
fumbling.
Do you have another guy on the Saints who's outperforming Alvin Kamara whenever they get the ball?
Right now, Ingram is.
What?
Yeah, Ingram got into the end zone today. Well, I'm gonna take that back. Ingram had 2 fumbles himself in 2 different separate games. So yeah, you probably right. Nobody really. He did have 2 turnovers.
It's a different situation, bro.
Yeah.
You can't compare. You can't compare Emery to Kamara, bro.
Yeah. So let's see here. I'm trying to see what else. Let me talk about this because I don't want to forget about this. This was big. Best at punt returner.
Yes.
And although we only saw it one time, Chris Hilton at kickoff return. I like Best at punt returner. Very sure-handed, make great decision, and had a touchdown. If not for a bogus call,
Should have been a touchdown.
Should have been a touchdown. Chris Hilton missed block, and that's a touchdown. I like what Brian Polian did to fix those issues. It's hard to say. It's hard to say on the kickoff return, punt return. Well, we didn't have a punt, so can't judge off that. But it's hard to see on kickoff return if those holes were filled because I'll say because of the level of competition we're playing. But
I would say it looked better. The return game looked better yesterday than it has all season. That's a positive.
I want to see Chris Hilton at punt return.
He had kickoff return.
I want to see him at punt return though. I think he give us against Alabama or somebody. I think he give us the best chance to return one on punt. Kickoff, it ain't the same no more.
I'm being honest with you, Chris. On a punt return, as long as you fair catch it, I don't care. I don't care.
Punt returns can change the game. Ask DJ Chark.
You're absolutely right.
That's Odell Beckham against Ole Miss.
Hey, and punt returns can also change the game like Florida State.
Ask Malik Nabels. So as long as he catch it, as long as we, because so what we have seen, and I said this the other night, we can score anywhere on the field. Like honestly. Yeah. So as long as we can get the ball and set up and get going, I like it. So Brian Thomas had the
wide receiver 1. That's what you're talking about?
No, I'm not gonna go that far. Let's not get beside ourselves. 3 catches, 76 yards. They had the longer 50.
I'm gonna start calling you overreaction, Chris.
Bro, come on, man. Y'all can see it with your eyes. The guy catch the ball. He may not go down. He may take it to the house. Who that reminds you of?
I mean, I could say the same thing about Malik Nabels, right?
I can say this.
Malik ain't getting no rap yards like Brian Thomas.
Man, let me tell you, every time you need a big time catch, he there. He making a catch. He making a touchdown. Who am I talking about?
Jeray Jenkins.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Jeray a beast. I like Jeray. Actually, I met him before. He's nice.
Yeah, Brian Thomas. I'm not taking anything away from Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas is good. I'm not ready to say he wide receiver 1 yet. Now, with us knowing Kayshawn was out for the birth of his child, maybe that might be some of the reasons why, some of the mental aspects of the game that we saw.
Could be.
Yeah, so
could be mentally exhausted.
All right. So let's before we get our guest up, ask y'all one last question. Remaining concerns before SEC play.
I'm gonna go with the penalties. I seen some false starts and stuff. We got to get that. That could be a drive killer. I want to see that. Them get that right on the O-line, more communication and stuff like that.
Yeah, that and the tight end position.
Yeah, penalties is my biggest thing.
Before we move on, penalties. I did miss part of the game because I was at a family event.
Okay.
What did the tight ends do? I know I heard Cole Taylor.
Cole Taylor had a holding penalty that caused a touchdown back, and Mason Taylor had I want to say 2 drops.
Man, my boy still dropping the ball.
Yeah, and they hit him in the hands.
All he got to do is catch it. He'll be great.
I mean, and we know he has that potential. So it's not like so. All right. My guys, y'all ready back there? Y'all ready to get thumbs up? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna bring to the Golden Boot our friend. Come on now, our friends from Down South Football Podcast, Renard Williams and Chauncey Tuck. Welcome to the Golden Boot, gentlemen. Thank y'all for coming. Glad to have y'all on.
Thank you, everybody.
What's going on, fellas?
Before we get started, let me go ahead and get this out the way now.
Okay. Talk to. Oh, that's all Tuck. All right, I ain't got nothing to do with that, dog.
Epic.
So last year,
that's a beautiful play. That's a beautiful picture.
You was very disrespectful in Tiger Stadium.
Okay, I don't know how that goes.
You know what I'm saying? You want to light your cigar. I just want you to know that you just set Auburn back by another 30 years.
I mean, look, let me tell you something. I hadn't been down that stadium since I was in high school, senior year in high school. And so when I came, I was like, you know what? We haven't won since I was a senior in high school. I was like, you know what? Bump this. I'm going. I don't care what happens. I don't care what my job says. I'm going to this game. You know what I'm saying? And then the good thing about it, I went with my friend. I went with my friend. I went with Eric Jones. Shout out to Montgomery Police Department. I went with him, and it was awesome. And he's a big LSU fan, and I felt bad for him. I got a couple of photos. We ain't gonna post them up, but I will post them up during the week because it is LSU week. But yeah, it was a pretty good moment. And that's like I said, I told y'all I was coming down there. I told, look, where's my biggest hater at? Not Tony, Travis. I see Travis is in here, my biggest hater. Hello, Travis. And Tony, and yeah, man, it's just it was a moment that I could actually relish, and I was very excited. But hey, that was one thing. I probably did set us back. Probably 25 years, because looking at this year's team, it's my fault. I would take the blame because it's my fault.
Yeah. First off, everybody, Renard. So when we had Ben on, we told him, thank you because when we came to Sweat Media Day, you guys kind of, ushered it in, gave us, the look around. Hey, this, boom, when you come back next year, do this,
all up.
So, yeah, so we appreciate everything, that y'all did. But the first thing Tuck did was whip out that phone and show us that picture.
Yeah, I mean, you welcome to the great state of Alabama and the great city of Birmingham.
Listen, I live in Alabama, so
you have to understand that Tuck is the ultimate troll. That's what he likes to do. He's not as bad as some people, but if he got something on you, he gonna let you know he got something on you.
Oh, don't worry, I will have plenty of pictures and stuff for next year.
I just want to know if he gonna light the cigar like that when Harsons get fired.
Yes, I will. I got a good one ready to go.
I think he got a good one ready to go. He bought it about 6 months ago. So I think he got one ready to go.
His secretary bought it for him.
Pressure. That's strike one. You gonna lay out the food.
Okay, yeah.
Whoa, I don't know where that compliment came from, but Trust me, we got plenty of examples of cooking around the state of Alabama. I'm not saying they're great at anything.
We're not saying, look, we didn't come in here we're not going Cajun. We didn't talk about that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I will say this. And I mean, my wife is a huge Cajun. I told her a huge Cajun love. I said, you should have been living in New Orleans or something because, like, she could eat it all day, every day. I get it. There's no comparison as far as like that part of it. I will give you that.
Yeah. And then my wife is also an LSU fan. So this week,
at least you did something right.
I know, right? And starting today, I haven't even spoke to her. I haven't even looked at her. She's just been looking at me, crying like, what you gonna do? But no, I mean, it's all love, But she is from the great state of Alabama, from Mobile, so.
Okay. She from my neck of the woods. I understand that then.
Right. So I-10, she hits the I-10, so you should ready to go. So, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, don't drink Alabama. All of this.
Not all of us. Yeah.
So, all right. So, Phil, let me get to this. First things first.
All right.
Yes, sir. Let it ride.
The state of Auburn, because from the perception on the outside, it's like it is I would say a dumpster fire, but let's take it back to an old LSU Auburn game. We'll say a barn fire.
it's a barn fire that's got like a Chinese fire drill mixed
I
all
don't.
in together with it. You know,
Yeah.
it's a whole bunch of stuff. It ain't your normal bonfire. I will say
A
that.
3-1 team is not a dumpster fire.
Chris, you
Oh
don't.
yeah, it's you don't want to go there, bro.
Yeah.
Chris,
put the-
we tried to explain to you,
Yeah.
but I tried to explain to you yesterday. It's not so much the record; it's the what's going on behind the scene with the
That's the
coach and
part.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's trying to set him up. The throwing Clancy under the bus. Like, first of all, why did they do that to such a fine young lady? She had did nothing wrong to nobody, and they just sit there and talking about some old, you know, what I'm saying horse got a bent over somewhere. And like, it was wrong.
She's just very good at answering phones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
the reason why he
yeah.
brought her from.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
gotta
reason
get-
why
you
he
gotta-
brought her from Boise.
Look. That is terrible. Hey, Grady, I need you to calm down. You know,
Bro, that's tough right there, tough.
man, you
that's-
know
that's
you
tough.
out there. You got to be out in the ocean with that beard ain't lined up like that. You got to be.
Yeah, he ain't been home, bro. You missed the post.
Like-
he ain't been home in a minute.
He
Leave
like
leave
Tom-
Vern
he-
alone, man.
He been
Tom
so.
Hanks, that boy Tom Hanks, he got Wilson out there beside him.
That's how them street tacos enhances his beard growth.
Oh, his beard be talking to him like, help me.
Anyway, let's back to the question. What we got?
Yeah.
What we got?
So what is the truth about what's going on in Auburn? You know,
Ooh.
well, hold on. What you can say.
Okay,
There you go. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you putting that part out there about what we can't say. Tuck, I'll let you go ahead and start.
You know, like you said, you brought up in the beginning of the season. You know, we were talking about, you know, when it came to all the speculation with this young lady, we all knew it wasn't true. Okay, it pretty much started when Carson fired Cornelius Williams his first year before he can even play a game. We all know it was some speculation behind that. We all know what happened behind that. Well, some people know what happened behind that, but the turmoil started rolling then. After the firing of Mike Bobo, which was I thought it was a great deal. Good job, Harsin. You needed to fire Bobo. Mason, if you're looking at Oklahoma State defense right now, you glad that he got fired. Mason, he did some things that made sense.
Right.
But the problem is, and always will be at Auburn University, is the boosters. Boosters will always be a problem. Boosters will not get out the way. They stumble on their own steps. And this can be recorded. It can push. I don't care. They can come after me. I will let them know you're the fault. You're the problem, Mr. Jimmy Rain. You're our problem. You know, Pat Dye is not getting out that grave. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. They will not understand. They will not be able to get in front of themselves and get out their way to let somebody come in and run a football program. The reason why Nick Saban came to the University of Alabama, he wasn't their first choice. It was Rich Rod. But the thing is, Nick Saban came out there and said, hey, I got to run it my way. If I don't run it my way, then boom, I'm not coming. He wanted to be the coach, the general manager. That's what he was at Miami. With the Miami Dolphins. That's what he did at LSU. He ran it his way. The boosters are going to have to understand it ain't going to be Harsin. They're not going to let Harsin run his own ship. They're not going to let him run his own program. But the next person, because we got to get a new AD, we just got a brand new president.
That was another question to fall out from his resignation.
Yeah. So, you know, that's my boy, Alan Green.
I'll speak on that, Tucker.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's my boy, Alan Green, you know, University of Notre Dame alumni. So y'all know the connection with that. So it was tough. You know what I'm saying? They kept on doing these contract negotiations, but the person that they got in there right now in the intern, that's what they want from the get-go. But they got to get out that good old boy system. If they don't get out that good old boy system, Auburn University is going to keep sputtering. So, to come to a head of where we at right now, I mean, Harsin just coaching. You know what I'm saying? He just coaching football, man. And what it is what it is. You know, he didn't help his case out on yesterday. It was terrible decision making. He did on a couple things, but you know, right now it is what it is, and he's just coaching football, and he's just coaching for his kids. That's what he's doing.
So, quick question on that, because you mentioned yesterday, rumors were if Auburn would have lost yesterday, the moving trucks was already at his house.
Yeah,
it's a more of a thing of most people that saw the game yesterday. Most people that are really on the inside that really know did not celebrate the win at all. They were cheering for Missouri. 100%, because you have to understand, you can look at the record, oh, that team is 3-1, but if you watch that team play and watch that team get dominated up front, the O-line is probably the worst that I've seen in 15 years. And that's saying a lot. Like, if you want to just send the blitz, just send the blitz. And you ain't got to send the blitz. Like, if you got a strong DL, that's all you have to do. It's so many bad moving parts. And it's not, and my biggest issue is that, it's not even about the kids. That's where the problem comes in, that, is that the players. Those are people that you really feel sorry for. And it's a situation, like we said, about the boosters. The big thing is, like, everybody now throws around the word boosters, but a lot of people don't know what the real power moves are. And that's the difference. Like, everybody in Auburn family says, oh, the boosters got to change. The boosters about to change. I know personally a lot of boosters. Tuck knows a lot of boosters. It's not always boosters whole. Sometimes it's the 3 to 5% that controls a lot. And you see it in everyday life. I'm not getting political, but you see people that only care about what's good for them and not what's good for the whole. And that's what happens with a lot of people, that they don't want to actually, like, take it and say, okay, this whole part, if we do this, we can elevate. But as long as I got my say so, I'm doing well. Okay, no, I don't want this guy. Well, how do you just not want somebody and not want your university to succeed? So you got to put your university ahead of of your own personal beliefs and your own personal gain. But you can't get everybody to do that when you're talking about money and you talk about boosters.
So somebody said they need you to come to Jordan Hare with them Saturday so they can return the favor. They're gonna bring
that's Eric Jones. Shout out my boy Eric Jones, Blue Fire, all that good stuff. But look, let me tell you something. Okay. Eric knows.
I told you not to take that picture.
Look, I know, but matter of fact, you see his profile picture? You see his profile picture? You see?
No, I don't see his profile. I didn't see it. What was it?
Look at that. That's a nice picture, ain't it? Guess who took that picture?
You took that.
Yeah. So that's the only return favor that I gave him. That was a free picture. But anywho, but like, just to carry off what Renard was saying, 3 to 5% of the people is a problem, but the 3 to 5% of the boosters is what controls like 85% of the money. That's the issue, right? That's the unfortunate part. And they use a dog Alan Green, but
hey, let me add this to that too. I think Pooh and all of them will like Chris too. Like, how do you have someone that's worth all this money? I'm not talking about Jimmy Rain. I'm just talking about other people inside that 5. I'm gonna say 5 to 10%. And y'all know what we live in right now, the world we live in with recruiting and everything else. Like, how you say until this coach is gone, I'm not giving a dime to NIL.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm talking about, I said it last year.
And recruits got a lot to do with how your success go in years to come.
Exactly. Recruiting is the lifeblood of your program. I mean, that's the whole thing. So it's like you got the Harsin situation where he was pushed into it. You got these folks behind the scene that's sitting here like, oh, we ain't giving money to NIL. We like, well, but you want the man to succeed.
So not only just that, you putting the next coach behind the 8-ball because you ain't stocking the cabinet up for him for whenever he get there.
Right.
Right. And
the biggest thing is that, I mean, the great thing is that the $90 million facility is about to open. The football facility is about to open. But guess who was spearheading that? Alan Green was spearheading that with what he was fighting, even though it's been 2 years. 2 years ago, we knew Alan Green wasn't going to survive. That's just keeping it 100. 2 years ago is when Alan Green was looking for jobs. When he was doing all that kind of stuff like that. That never stopped the man from doing, the job that he was hired to do. But it's also like, if you got a boss that don't like you and a boss want to get you out, like, how you gonna work? You just gonna put your head down, give me my check, and keep on doing what I got to do.
Well, let me ask y'all this. I done seen, everybody's pretty much is assuming that Harsin is gone. So I've seen the name. You know where I'm going. I've seen the name being put out there.
You really want me to do that?
I mean, I gotta ask you, bro.
Are you talking about the name of the person that we saw at the SWAC Media Day?
Yes, that's exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah, they can take that name, put it in the trash can, and and do whatever with it. But I'll let Tuck speak on that.
Yeah, and to that point, yes, that does sound. That does sound. I'm more on Renard's viewpoint on that. That probably won't happen because Dion is again. Him and Nick Saban when it comes to mentality, they're the same thing. They're not going to let that relinquish that type of mode. Now, however, there is reports of that Dion was in Auburn last Sunday. I still have not been able to confirm those things, but Dion has a little grift with Jackson State University, a couple of weeks ago.
Make sure you put the "the" on them.
Yeah, got to put the "the." There was a couple little, between the administration and Dion ain't gonna put up with too much of that. And with us covering a little bit of swag football, and I brought it up on Down South After Dark the other night. I was like, y'all think he really gonna keep hemorrhaging all this money, and then the school takes it? No, he's not gonna keep doing that because he needs that money. And he knows they need that money. But when it comes to Auburn, as of right now, I'm looking at like a 5%, 10% chance of that happening.
Of which part? Talk about the name I won't speak. Oh,
that's probably.
And that only happened if you like these people right now, especially who they got now as interim athletic director.
Right.
I'll just say it. Bottom line is that they don't fit.
No.
They don't fit with someone like Dion coming in because guess what? He gonna want full 100% control.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that the next person is gonna be like what Gus was at first. It just means that you gotta be somebody who's gonna be able to relinquish control a little bit, just a little bit, not a lot. But also the Alabama thing, like, is Auburn? Are you in that situation now, like Alabama was when old boy flew down to Miami? It was like I can't come back without him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like the boosters was like, y'all got to be out the way. Like, you got to get to that point. So Auburn is at that point where Alabama was in 2007. Like, hey, you can't just keep going on this same cycle. And they had to give up everything, not everything, but they had to push some people out the way.
Right.
And Mal Moore was like, look, I'm running this. Like, this what y'all want back. You got to get this man what he want.
Yeah. What y'all think about
off the field?
What y'all think about Hugh Freeze coming down there and coaching?
I ain't in favor of that either. But
I mean, but here's the thing.
That's not happening, bro.
The thing is,
he's not allowed.
Here's the thing. When I look at Hugh Freeze, when you look at Hugh Freeze, again, I think that's why the president is trying to expedite this AD hire, because he wants that AD to hire his coach, because he doesn't want no parts of it, because quiet as it kept, if he hires a football coach and that football coach don't do good, that president's gone. That's how bad, that's how football works. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't, Rich McGlynn is intern, but he is running that program. I don't care what it is. Rich McGlynn is the one, basically, he's the AD over basketball. You know what I'm saying? So quiet as it's kept, it didn't really matter who they hired. But with Hugh Freeze, okay, if the next AD hires Hugh Freeze, they're going to have to do just like they did with Bruce Pearl. They're going to have to take a shot. You're going to have to take a chance. You got to have to make sure that the phones do not go out like that.
Bean came in to back y'all up. Talking about Tony.
Let me. Okay, I don't think Hugh Freeze is a possibility. I don't know.
Not with him and Gus being friends either.
So let me. What about Matt Rule? If he gets fired from Carolina?
No.
I was hoping you weren't gonna say that, Ant, because I already knew what that was gonna happen.
Yeah, he adamant.
Why would y'all say Matt Rule?
Have you seen Carolina?
It's different league.
No.
Yeah, but see, you're not hearing the stuff that we hear behind the scenes about a lot of stuff with players and everything.
So let me, instead of just throwing names out there, you give me your names then, Tuck.
Right. So here's let me tell you something. I had a board. I'm reading in my office. I had a board over here with Auburn potential coaches. Okay, potential coach. All right, my number one.
Had about a year.
Yeah, I had about a year because I knew this was not. I seen this happening, and this is not fair. But anywho, the number one that I want to give, it's going to be a coordinator. It's not going to be a guy who's had his a coaching in right now. So
Kendall Brown.
Not Kendall, but my number one is Jeffrey Levy from Oklahoma. Give him the keys and let it ride. Let my boy do his thing. Second one, it would be Jeff Grimes out of Baylor. Jeff Grimes is also the offensive coordinator. He was also the offensive line coach here at Auburn. Now, there goes your connection to Auburn University.
Which they won't. So
the thing about I see somebody in the comments, Mel Tucker. The only reason why Mel Tucker lost to
that's who I was gonna say.
Mel Tucker lost to Washington last week. A couple weeks ago. No, look. Here's the thing. I love Mel Tucker. He got to get back on the right track. At this point, it's a crapshoot for me. Like I said, and Lane Kiffin is a dream. In Lincoln, what Lane Kiffin saw yesterday with the half-empty stadium at Vaught Hemingway, maybe you want to dance over. Hey, last time we took a coach from Ole Miss, it worked out.
I was just going to say, it ain't like y'all ain't taking a coach from Ole Miss before.
Yeah.
I do want to, because this our man Brambo says it's amazing how Marcus Freeman was able to get a big time job as a first-year head coach, but folks doubt Prime. So two things about that, Brambo.
Yeah.
First thing, he was a panic hire.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much got, because Marcus Freeman he had his bags packed. He was coming to LSU.
Yep.
They kept him to keep the recruits and keep all the team intact and to keep the coaches intact.
Because they still had the playoffs that was still on the table at that time.
Playoffs,
you know what I mean?
So
they had to keep all that together.
Yeah.
And the team loved it.
Also, how is that looking right now?
That's very true.
Look, Marcus is going to have to fire his offensive staff. He's just going to have to fire everybody. Everybody offensively. I love Tommy. Me and Tommy go back when I used to go visit Justin up in Notre Dame. We go back a long way, but he got to go.
Speaking of that, because you mentioned the Notre Dame connection, can you tell everybody your connection to Notre Dame?
The all-time sacks leader at Notre Dame University is University of Notre Dame is Justin Tuck. He's a Tuck, so TUCK, former
New York Giants,
two-time Super Bowl champion,
number 91,
2-time Super Bowl champion. So, but yeah, Marcus is a good guy. He's gonna have to figure it out. He's gonna have to pull the trigger on Tommy Rees. I mean, like I said, Thomas is a good guy, but the rant that he did on that kid the other week too.
Oh yeah.
I already know that the priest and the diocese are already looking like, look, y'all, this is a bad look, and he cuts way too much to be Catholic. So, and that's coming pretty strong from a Catholic. So, you gotta pretty much knock some of that stuff off as far as how the look is, and they did that with Manti Te'o, and then yesterday, and like I said, California almost went into Notre Dame Stadium and beat them.
They should have.
If you close his legs, it's a touchdown. His game is over.
Hey, let me ask you something. I want to ask you guys something. And like when it comes to coaching search, me and Tuck, we've been pretty cool, really close the last 3-4 years. Like coaching, here's my issue with that. People love to throw names and not really whether or not somebody can coach or not. Mm-hmm. And that's always been my biggest thing. Oh, we just gonna throw names and we're gonna do this and do that. Nah, that doesn't mean he's gonna be successful going to a different place. Like, does he really know how to coach and get the person together? Every year, think about the hot names over the last 4-5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are not employed.
Nope.
It's not always
Chris Peterson.
I mean,
Chris Peterson could coach. He talking about Tom Herman and names like that.
Right. It's like it don't always mean that first of all, it got to be program fit. Can they do recruiting? Recruiting is your bloodline of the program. How do you fit at a certain place? Like nobody thinks that Harson's a bad coach. Now he's terrible. He's terrible at adjustments.
That was going to be my next question. Why the bitter taste for Harsin? Because I
situational.
Right. I mean,
situational.
He ain't a Southern guy. So
there you go. Yeah,
half the fan base didn't even give him a chance because he came from the West Coast.
Half the fan base didn't give him a chance because they was also spoiled by the fact that Alan Green went out and made a hire and did not consult the big money people involved. He was the AD, and guess what? He did what an AD does supposed to do. He went out and hired a good head coach. But you can't bring a solid head coach into a toxic situation. You just let go. That was a lot of back and forth with that. I'm not going down that road.
Not at all.
Bring this guy in who's a good football coach that loves football, but also not familiar with recruiting in the South, Then you bring in these boys and guys, so you making these people in charge more and more upset. And then you look and you say, well, what's going on? Then the product on the field is not going well. Your recruiting is not going well. It's like, yeah, you're making some, but you're coming from Boise. And I think Harson's a really good guy. He really, really is. And the whole biggest thing is like, you need somebody that can go in there and get stuff done. And he got thrown into a situation where he wasn't not his fault.
Yeah, this whole bit brings up a good. Go ahead, Chris.
I thought when you hire a coach, you're supposed to upgrade, but it seems like Auburn downgraded when they fired.
It's situational.
I can't think of his name right now.
Coach
Malzahn.
It's situational.
Yeah.
Gus came in. I'm sorry, Tucker. I'll let you have it. Gus came in 2013 and what did he do? He revolutionized the offense, changed everything that was going on. You know what I'm saying? And then nobody in the SEC was really doing that for real. And then it took them a while to catch up to it. But also, he lived off of that for a minute. Then he got hot again in 2017. It's like, but he had a lot of fumbles along the way. He had some pretty good, solid recruiting classes. But you think about it, we haven't had a solid, good OL offensive line in a minute. And recruiting has been bad on the O-line for a long time.
The last 5-star offensive lineman we had was Brandon Smith, and we found him by accident out in Kansas.
I was just about to ask y'all that. Like with Harson's and going off last year, what y'all did on the field, then you go to the transfer portal, you get some quarterbacks, but I mean you got some. I'm not saying they're good, but you got some, but. Well, you didn't get any offensive linemen. You didn't address certain positions that looked like that was a problem last year. So
correct.
Yeah.
Does Harson's have a problem with roster management and building a roster the right way? Or does that go back to not having help with NIL money and stuff like that?
Well, here's the thing. With COVID, I think that hurt a little bit. And when I say it hurt a little bit is because, think about it, all those offensive linemen that stayed this year, those are all COVID kids. Those guys were COVID men that stayed an extra year. Those guys would have been gone. So what's number one thing or number two thing that some of these guys that you're looking at, they're looking for playing time. Mm-hmm. When you look on paper, Auburn has an offensive line that's been together since 2019, almost 2020. They're still trash. And
can you put up Brumfield? I'm sorry, but I'm
gonna get to it, Chris. I got a couple of them I need to get to. But go ahead,
and then dealing with that part, offensive line recruitment. Okay, I love Coach Friend. I got a good relationship with Coach Friend. But when it comes down to Auburn and the quote he made yesterday, he need to be fired just for the quote he made yesterday. Talking about we won, so we should be happy with that because just imagine what we did when we lost. We really didn't win that game, Coach. You know what I'm saying? The thicker kicker missed the ball to the right. Old buddy tried to reach out, which I don't understand why you try to reach out. On the inside head, on the outside head, trying to reach out inside to the pylon. Just go out of bounds. You got another down. But anyway, that's another day. And so why make that stupid? That's stupid. It didn't make any sense. But Gus got a bad route. He did. Gus got a bad route for, some of the stuff that like offensive recruiting. He thought his quarterback could match. He can get any quarterback in the country and it'll match his system. That didn't work. So he got all these Ferraris, he got all these fast cars, but he ain't got no dump trucks. You know what I'm saying? You got to get an offensive line that can push down the thing. That's the only gripe I had with Gus, and he didn't evolve his offense. Even Nick Saban had to evolve. You know what I'm saying? Because look, all Nick wanted to do was just hand the ball off and control the clock and play good defense. But then when people start spreading that ball around, let me see if I can do the same thing. So that part you got to get back in recruiting. I think Harsin does not do a great job of talking to parents because he's a straightforward guy. And here, some people in the South, you want to be hospitable, you want to come to the house, you want to kiss on the babies, love you mama, you want two-step, you want to do all this stuff, line dance at parties. Harsin ain't finna do that. You know what I'm saying?
But also he did he did hire a lot of people. He did expand the recruiting department. He did get better, and he did understand, and he's still getting better right now. But the biggest things, unfortunately, he won't be around to see the fruits of his labor.
Nope.
But that's the biggest thing. The situation, man, it goes so deep. And what we laugh about is like the people that's really, really in it. Everybody has a perspective and an outside thing, and I get it. It's like with you guys, like a lot of people talked a lot of noise about LSU, but you guys are on the inside and know what's really going on. So it's like when you know people that's really going on, a lot of times you don't have to talk, you don't have to say anything. But Gus came into a situation where he thrived off another talent and just changed the system. So in 2013, you got, let's be real, it was great national championship run, but you should have lost probably twice in the regular season. When you take the fan out of it and just look at it from a straight football perspective, and then like he had everything by the hand, by the balls, like hey, right here, I got you. But what he didn't do adjust. No structure in the passing game, no route tree, nothing like that. This man wrote a hurry up, no huddle offense book in high school for Arkansas, and he brought a lot of that over. And once the athletes started to go other places and do other things, then you started to change. He did not keep up either. So he was just kind of stuck in his system, bringing in offensive coordinators, and then he was taking over. The recruiting was kind of there. It was a lot that went on with the reason why Gus had to eventually move on. The biggest issue was that he had people in his corner. Alan Green made this hire, you know what I'm saying? And that was it. Everybody focused on, he beat Bama. Okay, let's talk about the years he beat Bama. He beat Bama, what was that, 2013? 2013, 2017?
2013, 2017, 20. Yep, that's it, 2019.
Okay, so 2013, y'all already know what we had. The miracle, we had kick six. You already know what happened. That was a good team.
That Georgia game, though. Nobody talk about the Georgia game.
Okay,
that was
to get to that point.
We'll get to that. But yeah, cover the Georgia game.
The prayer hair.
Yeah, well, see, the thing about people do remiss about the Georgia game, Auburn was up 35-10, 35-17. They was winning. They was beating them down. Then choir boy Aaron Murray decided to want to play football in the fourth quarter and scored 3 or 4 touchdowns. And
leave Aaron Murray alone, bro.
Yeah, well, that's when we had, I think Ella Johnson was the defense coordinator. I can't remember. But anyway, the defense just laxed. So they were just backing off. I was like, you're letting this man pick out apart. But to Renard's point, that year we just
No, go ahead. I was going to go down 2017 too.
Yeah, to his point, that's the reason why we struggled. You know what I'm saying? It was those big games was what saved Gus into staying at Auburn. He won against Georgia. He won against Alabama. But when you go, we always talk about on the road, Bo Nick, but we got on the road Gus too. Gus couldn't beat nobody on the road. It came down to if you played them on the road, man, you gotta just pray, to sit back and pray. We talked about the game the other day with Kansas State, when Auburn went to Kansas State. If it wasn't for Duke Williams and catching that ball on the 4th down, we probably would have lost that game on a Thursday night in Manhattan. But
that's what people look at things from the outside. It's like 2017 was a great year because Kerryon Johnson tried to change it up with Stidham and everything else. When it comes down to that, it's like, okay, yeah, but it's not. People focus so much on he beat Alabama. Alabama in 2013, it wasn't like Tua was there in 2013. Okay, it's like it wasn't the same thing. The thing about Saban has always been good and will always continue to be good is that he's going to always adjust and adapt and get better. He complained about the 3-yard rule, no hurry up, no huddle. But guess what? He adjusted to it. Here comes Lane. Here comes Sark. Here comes all these other people. So he just continued to adjust. But you guys didn't adjust.
Yeah, and Nick Saban actually got a new position for referees in the game. You know what I'm saying? He's the main one who got a umpire no more.
The dude that spot the ball.
They actually made a ruling. You got to be able to change your. If they change an offensive set, the defense got to be able to change. Nick Saban got that rule changed. Look, you can't tell me like this. I know we're talking about Nick Saban. I love Nick Saban as a coach. I hated the University of Alabama. But however, this is however, this stuff happens because rule changes because people respect and it makes the game a little bit fair to everybody. But you know, with Auburn is right now. It's just what it is. I'm on a week by week scenario here with them.
Okay.
People inside the industry know what's really going on. That Auburn has always been a power struggle. To sum it all up, their power struggle.
Yeah, I being an Alabama resident,
Right.
I've heard some of the stories.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently heard a story about Terry Bowden.
Which one?
The reason he was out, and it sounded very similar to the reason why they tried to push, or how they tried to push Harsin out. So it sounds like they've been running that game for a minute. But let me get to a comment or two, because this old vet said not everyone can rebuild on an organization. Some can only run a program after it's been built by someone else. Completely agree.
Exactly.
Jason Brumfield said Auburn had some good in Malzahn, beating Bama every other year. Maybe not title worthy, but causing chaos. I can give Malzahn credit for that. But y'all have already kind of talked about that.
Yeah. And it wasn't every other year.
Right.
I mean, it was very competitive, you know. But the whole thing, it's got to be bigger than. But you give Gus a whole year to prepare for a team.
Oh,
he's gonna find. Last game of the year, he's gonna know. You know, he's gonna be able to do his tricks. I know we're gonna hit. We're gonna hit this right here. We're gonna do that.
This right here. We're gonna, the boys practice really good this week.
And it's not saying that Gus not a good coach, but ask people at UCF right now.
Yeah,
that's
true. Let me ask y'all this: How does Auburn beat LSU this weekend?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to
Jesus.
Oh man. So
Jordan Hare Stadium at night.
That's it.
I've said it all week, bro. Like, Auburn don't scare me, but Jordan Hare worries me. You know what I mean? Like, it's some crazy stuff that happens there, bro.
Fans, Auburn Jesus is a real thing.
Yeah,
you can't tell from yesterday. Auburn Jesus is a real thing. Here's
y'all.
But Auburn has the fans are going to have to will this team to a victory. That's the only way this is going to work.
I mean, if you look up at matchup wise, man, like, it's not even really close. I mean, you get into the trenches right now, like, our D line has been kind of really disappointing from an overall standpoint. Like, I mean, Derek Hall is doing his thing, Leota is doing his thing, but the inside, of course, what's his name, Kobe Wood is still doing it. But it doesn't feel consistent. And last year, of course, you know, they was really solid up front on 4-3, but you know, we had Jacoby cleaned up a lot of stuff last year at the linebacker position. That Auburn had a lot of that last year. They cleaned up, so it's like they have some talent, but they're not to that same level of talent as they should be. And then you add in an inept offense, and your bread and butter is running the ball, but you can't really push nobody around. You don't have the technique up front. It's not doing well. It's like, where do you go? So it just starts to look worse and worse and worse. I don't really know right now exactly what they're going to do. But it's to me, I just think about it. A month ago, not even a month ago, 3 weeks ago, this game was Auburn by a 1.5 favorite. Today it's LSU by 8.
Yeah, 7, 8. Yeah,
that just tells you a lot. Product on the field.
So
go ahead, Pooh.
Okay, because I've already talked to. I don't know if y'all heard. We talked about this last night. I keep bringing this up for a reason.
Yeah.
Do y'all know the last time LSU has beaten Auburn by more than 7 points in Auburn?
In Auburn?
In
Auburn.
Was it like?
I want to say late 80s.
What's it? No, it had to be 90s. It was 90s. I went to one of them and I left and I got drunk. Well, let's see. I'm trying to figure out. Let's see. Was it not? What's this? What, 97? 98?
97? Yeah. 90, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I remember.
Now, and I'm going to bring this because Brambo said it earlier. Auburn was in shambles in 2012. LSU barely escaped the Plains with a 12-10 win. This team needs to be completely locked in for its first road game.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true.
I remember something happening that day back in the Louisiana that day we played Auburn in 2012. Something came. I think we had a tropical storm that Saturday or something like that. Not that year. What happened, bro? Not that year, Chris. 2020. That year, 2012 was Mettenberger year. That was LSU got a safety
and they also scored like the opening drive, and that was the last touchdown.
That was old boy last year too. That 2012 year has gone down. Like, of course, the Texas A&M game is the one that everybody else remembers when the boosters were assembling outside after the game, because that's when the fans and everybody left at halftime. Yeah, they were getting the checks. They were getting the checks together outside of the stadium.
Outside the stadium, handing it to Jimmy Raines' assistant, and said, "All right, we got the buyout. So what y'all want to do?" And then, so they informed Chiswick. It's like, "Hey, Chiswick, hey, you're going to be gone at the end of the year. You get to go coach Alabama, but that's it." And as soon as he left the stadium, as soon as he left Bryant Denny, that next right after the play, y'all saw Herm Edwards. It happened just like that, except it's happened inside the locker room.
This is why I respect programs like LSU, Arkansas, all these other programs that's been through the fire. You can't talk to me if you ain't, and this is not a shot, because I don't have anything against Alabama person like that. Y'all know me, I'm a lover of all college football. But it's hard for people to understand. If you haven't done something in almost 2 decades, you don't understand what it's like to have to deal with the coaching search and with everything that go right now. Like you live in the golden life. If you got a good coach 5-6 years with no issues right now in the college football landscape, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Ask this, and I think y'all kind of brought up some, but Adam, our good friend Adam, brings up a good point. I hadn't even seen this. He said, "Sorry, just got here, but do you think the weather plays a factor in the turn with the hurricane projecting more west?"
Yes, it's the thing about Auburn, and it's called the Plains for a reason. That it's flat. You know what I'm saying? So if it rains, that water. I mean, I know the guys down at Auburn Equipment. They do a great job. Auburn Field and Turf Management, they do a great job. But if we're getting torrential rain pour, because that's torrential rainfall, it's gonna be bad. That's one thing about being up here in the central Alabama location. We're gonna get the water. We're gonna get the rain. We're not gonna get the
winds and stuff.
And all that stuff. It might be a little bit windy as far as going into the kicking game, but it is a possibility this could play a factor. If it keeps turning west, it's going to be getting very interesting when it comes to the stadium and everything.
So I got a question for y'all.
Okay.
Where do y'all see? Y'all know the LSU roster the best. Is there anything on Auburn's roster that y'all see? Okay, like there might be an advantage here.
Thank Bigsby.
I was say running back.
I mean, it don't matter because he can't get the ball because he can't.
I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask y'all about Tank. Like, why isn't he getting the ball more? Why isn't he being? Well, I know y'all got the other running back, Hunter.
Jacquez.
Yeah. I know he's pretty good too, but I mean he ain't Tank Bigsby.
Right. Here's the thing: when you don't have a good offensive line, it doesn't matter. Tank can go out there. Tank is getting the handoff and getting hit 2 yards back in the backfield. I think it was a stat from. I forgot that website that sourced it, Pro
Football Focus.
Yeah, he gets hit. I think he had 60 yards yesterday.
Yeah,
45 of the yards were after contact. That's crazy. And these were handoffs. Like when Auburn went for it on the 4th down yesterday, he had a launch point. The Missouri defensive line pushed our offensive line all the way back. And he couldn't launch. That's how bad it is. Now, he should have went forward anyway. He should have took the 3 points. But, however, he still should have got the first down. It's 1 yard.
I'm surprised Tank didn't transfer.
Yeah, that was another good thing because that was another Brian Harsin recruiting pool. He recruited Tank to stay because Cadillac was almost out this door too. If he would have fired Cadillac, he probably would have done. He probably would have left. But Auburn has Tank Bigsby. They have Jacquez Hunter. They have a freshman in Damari Austin. The offensive line is trash. You can't see the greatness in them because the offensive line is terrible.
And this is when the football part comes in, and this is where a lot of fans don't want to get into it. Fans want to say, "Oh, they're not doing this, and they're not doing that." Okay, but why am I going to give the ball to Tank 3 straight carries and he's not getting anything? Yeah. He's not getting a push up front. At some point, the first 2 drives were basically kind of scripted. They ran the first 15 plays. I didn't get to see it live yesterday. I was shout out. I was at Tuskegee. You know what I'm saying? I was at the Tuskegee and Allen game yesterday, so I didn't get to see it live. And it's like, but I saw 15 plays, 15 runs. They had a really good first script, and I'm not down on them or anything. But it's just like, what do you do? when your line's not blocking and your quarterback is kind of like not as experienced, then everybody wants to get down on Robbie. Man, Robbie, this is his first time really playing really college football, and it's like he's doing a lot, and he's still learning how to do stuff. He does great things, but he's still learning how to do stuff, and it's like running behind that line, you get the Bo Nix syndrome of what he had his second year. Is like you see somebody coming through, you out.
Let me ask you this then. Okay, since Rob is in and he's a little more mobile than obviously TJ Finley is. Yeah. So do you think? I mean, it's two questions. Will TJ play against LSU, or is he still going to be injured? And two, if he doesn't play, do you think Ashford's mobility gives y'all a better chance, kind of like what Jason Brumfield said, because of what Bo Nix does last year?
I answer the second part. You go ahead, Tuck.
With TJ Finley, if TJ values his football career, he would not play this week. Just saying. If he wants to get better, if he wants to physically, if he wants to get better, not get injured again, precisely. But if he wants to not leave, I mean, he needs to sit this one out too. Look, it's a shoulder injury dealing with his ball and joint. He needs to sit this one out. Now, with Robbie Ashford, yes, he brings a new dynamic. But here's the thing, guys. Like, pretty much what Renard said. The plays were scripted last week. It was 15 plays, and they did wonderful because Robbie was on it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think what after the adjustments he makes after the 15 plays, that's where we have a lapse in play calling. The thing is with Robbie is he brings a different element into the ball game with play action. You can run with him, but they're not using that. They can't do play action because by the time they fake the ball off, they're getting hit. So you can't take half the field. That's one thing that Keesaw did against Penn State, the offensive coordinator. He took half the field away from TJ. What are we doing? So TJ needs the entire field. He doesn't need half the field. If he tries to do rollouts and all that stuff with Robbie, no. Robbie had a pretty decent game yesterday, and Robbie's a very emotional player. And once he makes a mistake, he needs to calm himself down. He has to bring his inner self in. If he starts making mistakes early in the game, I don't want to put Holden Griner in there. I don't want to put Holden in there right now. Holden is a great quarterback, but again, if we don't fix the offensive line, it doesn't matter.
Where's Calzada?
Calzada's gone for the year.
He's gone for the year.
He's gone for the year.
So my question to y'all is: you needed a quarterback, and your best options was Robbie Ashford, who talented but inexperienced, and then Zach Calzada. That's like why?
There were others.
Okay, go ahead.
There were others that they went out that they tried to go and get. Like most fans, most people wanted to say, "Hey, what we gonna do about the OL?" We already talked about that issue. It's like all these guys came back. Like, okay, Nick Braun was probably the ones like everybody was like, "Oh, we thought he was going to be gone," but I mean, they really needed for him to come back. Looking at it now, they need him so bad now. People think like, why the line's so bad? Y'all know the center's the anchor of the line. You got Tate Johnson in there right now, and then he got hurt yesterday. Then Jaleel Irvin had to come in there. So now you're down to your third string center. None of them were great. That says a lot. I don't know what Tate injury is. I haven't gotten an update or even looked at it.
He needs to sit down too. So he needs to sit down.
I'm not dealing with you. So I'm not dealing with Tuck, man. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. Go ahead, Tuck. You done took me off. Go ahead. You done took me off.
I'm just saying he needs to sit down too. He's an undersized center. He's a good kid, undersized center. So we just like I said, as far as recruiting a quarterback, Jaden Daniels got in the process real late. That's why I was like, well, damn, we need him. That's what we want right now. And then I thought, he's going to LSU because Brian Kelly needs a quarterback.
And they talk about Bo so bad. The difference between Bo and Robbie is this. Let me say this. Bo,
come back.
Yes, he will make you mad. And as a fan, if you watch him, you get mad.
Bo, come back.
You through now?
We'll let
But when Bo was running around, You know, I know y'all saw it against y'all game last year when he was running around and doing stuff because he had to run around. But the thing about it, Bo was a 100% like a quarterback first, and he had 3 years of experience. You know what I'm saying? Like Robbie is really still a freshman. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to get him game reps and game experience. He doesn't have that right now, and that's what he's going through. Yeah, Bo run around, do crazy stuff, but Bo also had 3 years of playing experience in the offense, and people didn't know about a lot of people didn't know about Bo legs and all that kind of stuff like that. And he took a lot of crap, and that's probably a lot of the reason why he left. A lot of it was self-inflicted, but that's the biggest thing. Like Robbie can run around, he can do it, he can make the pass. You've seen him complete great passes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's just not consistent enough.
The consistency part is with the whole team. Let's be honest. The consistent part is with the whole team. But Bo Nix, if you're listening to me, look at me in my eyes, Bo Nix. Come back, please.
and do what?
We need you, Bo Nix.
And do what? Man, that man can't come back. They might try. They already trying to threaten that man family. Leave that man alone.
Man, he is out there having fun. You know, he's a dark horse for the high.
As long as he at home.
A dark horse for who?
No, that's
he might be a Shetland pony. For
it's an ongoing joke on Twitter. You know, we always say about Bo. I mean, he did good on the road yesterday. Renard.
Yeah, he did. He did a little bit of shaking.
Bo Nix is significantly better than who y'all have right now.
Oh, give me Bo Nix.
But Chris, here's the big thing you're saying.
Get the shirt made.
Here's the big thing you're saying. Is like people see what they see, and they see the stuff with Bo. But they never. A lot of people don't talk about line play. They don't understand offensive line techniques or even schemes or patterns of how that normally goes. You know, like Auburn is a little bit whether it's a zone blocking scheme or what kind of scheme it is, and those guys wasn't good. So they talk about Bo so bad, but they don't talk about the fact of the guy that y'all love so much, Gus, only signed like 3 high school recruits and like four recruiting classes in a row.
Yeah,
4 recruiting classes, 3 high school offensive linemen.
Yeah,
you can't survive like that.
You can't. And like I said, the last best high school offensive we had was Braden Smith out of Kansas, and Coach John L. Grimes found him by accident.
It was a left tackle y'all had in 2018 that went.
Well, we ain't gonna talk about him. He's gonna do some legal issues right now. Greg Robinson.
Who are you talking about?
Greg Robinson. We can't.
Greg. Greg was 2013. Yeah.
We ain't nobody 2018. You know, but Greg Robinson. You know, hope you get your legal stuff situated. You know.
See, you went there. I wasn't even going there right now.
Travis said, "I told people they ran Bo and Gus off, and it made no sense to me."
Gus, you're wrong. I'm just gonna leave it like that. You've been pumping that thing. It's not running Gus off.
We didn't run Gus off. Yeah,
Gus ran himself off.
Exactly.
Gus ran himself off. It's just like what you expect him to do. Like you pay the people in the program because here's about it. It's like everybody wants to be so pumped up about what he did against Alabama. Remember, now you look, every comment is about, he beat Bama, but they don't talk about everything else that happened the other 11 games of the season all the time.
He lost to LSU twice in the states, almost in the same stadium too. Remember, the matter of fact, this is the game I didn't get. I made my proposal to my wife, and it was Auburn versus LSU. And remember when what's his name caught the ball in the end zone? There's 1 second left.
Oh yeah. Oh, he came back too. Yeah. So
the last thing, Les Miles coached in. Yeah. I looked at my homeboy and I said, I'm not going to propose tonight.
Listen, I almost got divorced because of that game.
What?
My wife is an Auburn fan.
Well, see, that's okay. You've been talking about me. Look at you.
I almost got divorced because of that game. But DJ Sharp was the guy. Ironically, he was the guy who caught the pass in the end zone that didn't
count. A touchdown. I don't care what they say.
Yeah, he caught the one that didn't count. But he also
it didn't count, right? So
yeah.
Okay.
So, but he was the one who ran the punt back. He was the one who ran the punt back in the comeback game.
Yeah, right. Another thing.
Yeah.
Good. You forgot one, Poop. 2019. Tell him what happened.
Look, let me tell you something.
No, 2018.
Gus lost that one too.
Whenever your nephew caught that pass,
man, 4 yards.
That was so hurt. That hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt.
But the LSU game, Auburn game has always been like, it always has some kind of consequences on the line. That's what it feels like.
First of all, which is why 10 plus points I would never.
If
No.
the line
In Auburn,
if the line come out LSU minus 10.5, I'm taking Auburn in the points.
No,
it's at 8 right now. It came out. It's at 8.
I think it's gonna be closer. It's gonna be closer to 5 by game day.
But here's the thing, though. We thought Penn State was gonna be close. We thought Penn State was gonna be close. We thought it was gonna be elite. The only reason we picked Auburn was because of the stadium. That's the only, and right now, that's the only reason. I don't even want to pick Auburn. I don't even want to pick them.
Okay, well let's do that. Who you got? What's the score this weekend?
I'm gonna give you 2 scenarios. One, the homer picking me is gonna say Auburn by 1. The realist in me is gonna say LSU by 7.
I'm not gonna do the other side of talking about the Auburn in me because Auburn is not in me right now. You know, Auburn is not in me. I'm more of a football realist. Always have. Anybody listen to our show knows how I am. I don't even talk about Auburn.
We don't.
I mean, I don't. I mean, we don't. Me and Tucker, we don't go there. We talk. You know, our show is more college football based wide. You know what I'm saying? Our show, that's what we are. But give me right now, man. I just looking at everything, and like you said, the 2 scenarios that Tuck said, I just don't see it right now. I just see 24-10 LSU.
Yeah.
As we look right now.
Yeah, as we look right now, and it could end up easily being 31-10. Auburn's going to probably score within the first 15 plays.
Right. It was Missouri. And when I mean no disrespect to Missouri, I respect all.
Shout out to Eli Drunkowicz. That's a good name.
But on the line, they were just talking about like, hey, D-line, what should happen? Bruh, when did you 4th and 1 twice and you can't get a push?
O-line trash.
And what you gonna do against LSU, Texas A&M, Bama, Georgia? Well, we had already called Georgia and Bama as a L. But what you gonna do against the rest of all of them when it really steps up?
Look, y'all schedule ain't getting no easier neither.
No, it gets worse. It gets way worse. We got Georgia after y'all.
Hey, Pooh know me, man.
Wow.
It's all about the whole college football spectrum, baby.
Yeah.
I'm doing first half parlay with Georgia.
Quick question. Who covers the ACC and Florida State for y'all? Don't worry, you ain't got to answer.
Why you go there? I mean, of course we do, but when it comes to Florida State, Ben, who is probably in the comments, I think he's behind. He behind the live stream.
He got his application.
He way
behind the live stream. Let me tell y'all something, man. I'm the person, like I'm the whole perspective kind of guy. When it comes to Florida State, Ben could go make money by himself just talking Florida State, bro. Like that's him. That's him, man. You can't.
So behind the scenes on the Downside Football Podcast, we got Tuck and Ben fighting over who gonna hire Dion.
First and foremost, if all right, right now,
you just said a key word. Where did Dion go to school at?
Florida State.
Okay, so you know who's in favor of him, right?
Look, here's the thing. If they fire Matt Norvell after going 4-0 right now, that's not gonna happen. You know, Mike Norvell saved his job in that first week.
Ben is happy as a fat man eating cake right now because that's where his team is. Right, he deserves it because he's never faulted.
Never. And the one thing about Ben is we sort of had to, you know, I ain't gonna say educate him, but we had to tell him about recruiting as far as the trenches and the offensive line. Because Auburn is doing the exact opposite of what we telling them to do. So this is how we know what you got to get the offensive line, you got to get defensive line. It starts from the inside out. And the last couple of years, like, man, offensive line, man, we need to get. I told you. I mean, that's how it's built. And you know, Brian Kelly's going to find that out too. I mean, Brian's going. He knows. Look. Coach Kelly is a great, you know, CEO. He knows how to build a program from the inside out. Notre Dame right now.
Much respect.
Notre Dame has a great system that was, you know, set up by Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly knows football. Brian Kelly can even get the whole. Are we really
Hey, Dave is the calming force on our show.
What's good, Dave?
That's another one I remember. That's David Gardner, man.
Dave
is the calming force. He will always bring it.
Exactly. But Brian Kelly, man, like I said, when he decided to, it was a couple of interviews. Eric pointed this out to me. Eric Jones pointed this out to me. He was like, on the way he's talking, I'm like, man, it depends. I thought he would never leave Notre Dame. First of all, you got NBC money, you got Dick Ebersol right there in your back pocket. It's a real cushy job. You are guaranteed if you run the little small gauntlet and beat Clemson in the little quote unquote ACC, you're Gucci. You ain't got to worry about nothing. I think Brian Kelly wanted a challenge. I think Brian Kelly wanted to come down here.
He wanted a championship, and you ain't winning that at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he wasn't going to win at Notre Dame. Due to the fact of the prestiges and the
academic issues,
it's a whole lot to get in Notre Dame. So, the thing is, I think give Brian Kelly maybe 2 to 3 years. We're looking at a juggernaut. It's a sleeping giant. If he could just close off his corridor in his state and then open that door up a little bit, hit a little bit of Texas on the left, then hit hit Florida on the right, and then dip into Mississippi against the offensive lineman and Texas offensive lineman. Man, look, Brian Kelly knows
the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, he's just going to have to get in. He's just going to have to get in and establish himself with these high schools. And once he does that, it's endless.
Yeah, you would never believe me, but I have the pitch when it was rumored about Ed Orgeron being fired, and the exact date was September 11th, 2021.
Ooh.
In the chat, I put in a private chat, I said, plot twist, Brian Kelly comes to LSU and brings Marcus Freeman with him. Nah, I'm just playing. And I said, nah, I'm just playing. I think we're gonna keep, Ed is gonna figure things out. We'll still have him. Lo and behold,
you always been that guy that always thought stuff was gonna get better for.
Yeah, with Ed, man, them women got the Ed, bro.
Ed got to Ed.
I literally had the conversation with my son yesterday, and I told him, you'll lose a lot of money chasing women. You'll never lose women chasing money.
Like I said, man,
hey, Tuck, that boy divorced his wife, so he got that chick.
So you got to go.
It's a lot. I like y'all Brian Kelly. I told and this summer, like, they know me. I'm more general college football for the most part. Like I'm in everything. Even though I grew up Auburn fan, like my mind and everything kind of just went out. Like I'm just all about every program, about everybody. You know what I'm saying? When I saw Brian Kelly in Notre Dame, all I saw was like, it's a championship coming. Y'all know this, right? I hope y'all understand. You got to stick to course and stop comparing programs to the one that's been going on for 17 years in Tuscaloosa. I just wish people stop doing that.
Stop comparing things to West Vance, and that's
like comparing to the Patriots in the NFL or something like that. Bro.
Why?
You ain't gonna be that. So just stop trying.
And like I said, BK is a good guy. You know what I'm saying? Because we had a couple conversations with him through Justin, and I'm like, man, this man knows how to run a program.
Program
builder. Because with Notre Dame, when they let go Charlie Wise, that was a whole issue too. Like, who are you gonna get? Who they gonna pull? Who they gonna do? And when they pulled, Brian Kelly out of, I think he was coaching Cincinnati.
Yeah.
They was like, okay, this is a pretty decent hire. First thing Brian did, BK went in there, cleaned house. He said, I'm finna start all the way over. I'm finna build my tree. And then when he got to LSU, first thing he did, he cleaned house. He said, I love y'all. I'm glad what y'all did for the program. But the best thing to do for us to just go ahead and just, chop the head off. And I'm the new head, so I'm going to start building my program. And you can see some fruition to it a little bit. He should look. Florida State lost that game. I'm sorry. I was yelling at the TV like, go for two. Just go for two. And I was
exactly. I was saying the same thing.
I never put the game in the hand of a kicker. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. But it is what it is. Just give him some time. Brian, like I said, he would have been right now 4-0 if he beats Florida State. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, like I said, he's going to be that guy. I mean, like he will get the recruiting trail down. He's going to get everything he needs down at LSU. What's your AD name? Woodward.
Scott Woodward.
Yeah, Woodward. Woodward is pulling some major coaches. You know, he's
That's
with,
him. That's him.
women's basketball, men's basketball. He's doing the same thing with football. You know, he's probably gonna have to do something with baseball pretty soon. But hey,
he did baseball already.
Oh, see what I'm saying? He's gonna have to. That's what an athletic director do. But in the same token, these quote unquote boosters are letting him do his job. That's the end game, all game, and everything. So once Auburn hires a AD, we'll see what goes from there.
If you want to talk about on the field, Pooh, all you need to know is this one stat. Auburn is 0 for 16 and third down in their last, in the fourth quarter against their last 7 Power 5 opponents or something like that.
0 for 16.
Yeah. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. That tells you everything you know about where it is.
So that means you get no first down in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's ineptitude right there.
Wow,
that's bad. I mean, that's bad. But they're just in a state right now. Don't know exactly what's gonna happen. You don't know what you're gonna get from week to week. But I hate the fact that Robbie is even being thrown in it because me and his mama grew up with my family. So I know his mama and I know all about Robbie. You know what I'm saying? I hate that he was in this situation where he's getting messed up. But at the same time, hopefully it's valuable playing time for him finally so he can move forward.
This man is got to be about 30, 40 minutes behind.
Oh, God.
Lord, just wait till he get to the point where we talk about him. It's going to be that's going to be
Hey, look, like Dave said, we ain't talking about Ben, but let me tell you something about Ben. Ben is the ultimate, the fan in him won't let him look at the football. Everything is about, everything. Oh, they got this, they got that. It's dude, be quiet, man.
He sent me 10 Miami clips last night from the previous.
Yeah, he was so happy that Miami lost last night. I'm like, dude, you ain't gonna talk about your own team. You gonna talk about
y'all had a game, bro? Do y'all play Boston College this weekend?
Renard is a ball person. I'm about football. I don't hate anybody like that, but Ben, Miami and Florida, he was so upset that who won last week, and he was upset about it. If Miami and Florida do good, he don't matter.
Yeah,
Florida.
Florida.
Oh man,
he hurt. He hurt.
Like I told you, we're going to the in the depth with a little bit of Florida football. Florida, you got to give Napier a couple of years because I'm not saying he left to cover Bear in Florida, but you're still in Florida. You just got to go to Florida, got to go to the right spot. In Miami, it's crystal ball. It's gonna be very interesting in that state for football, and Florida State's doing well. They just got to get the right balance.
I'm happy.
Yeah, I am too.
He probably hate Florida like I hate Clemson.
He Clemson? Bruh,
so random.
He cannot stand Florida. If you know how certain teams are rivals of certain teams, guess what? I'm gonna be a Texas fan today. It's automatically, I just automatically hate Oklahoma. That's being hey,
being Florida State. Yeah, being Boston Middle Tennessee State gear the other day. Yesterday. Yeah, he went to Fanatics and everything. Shout out to Fanatics and everything, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's him. I can't be like that, man.
Well, listen, fellas. This has been fun. This has been fun. We got to do this again. Thank y'all for coming on and getting us this, because it's a lot of stuff that we didn't know. About and a lot of fans didn't know about about Auburn. It's because saying we've heard it with the hire of Brian Kelly, and it was why are you getting rid of Ed Orgeron? He just won the national championship 2 years ago, but you don't know about all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes.
Exactly, it's back.
Because Gus showed up in 2013 in that championship. He literally supposed to been gone in 2017. But 2017 he pulled out a magic out and beat folks. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. So
we want to come back when we ain't about Auburn. I want to come back and we just talk about regular college football. Everybody, hey,
do that.
We'll make something happen. We'll definitely make something happen. And but fellas, thank you again. We'll send you a nice picture tuck, get you something real nice, put on a shirt for you.
I always understand y'all issue is with Tuck, not Renard.
I told Renard knows this. I will take the brunt because I go back and forth all year with Travis and I go back and forth with Vern. I don't care. I would talk my mess. And like we were talking the other day, he was talking about, I know you don't think Auburn gonna be LSU. I was like, I don't, but I'm not gonna tell you that to your to your face. I mean, it's all at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's always War Eagle. But
that's y'all first problem. Y'all need to pick a mascot.
That's a better.
That's a whole thing.
I know that story.
Don't go there. Yeah, don't go there.
So we have a battle cry and we have a mascot.
I was trying to let the people go, and then you go.
I'm just saying we just
don't go into all that stuff. This is not our show. This is their show.
I'm sorry.
Hey, whatever Tuck doing, he got a nice crib back there. Y'all gonna be,
that good old green screen, Chris. You know what I'm saying?
He fell for it too.
I ain't falling for it. I knew. I seen him link
we can't talk about we can't talk about my daytime job. You know, we can't talk about that. You know, we got to keep that weight moving. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep that weight.
Yeah, I got you.
See, like you just don't.
I mean, look, you can't
look at him.
Wait, no,
man, you try, and you know what with somebody like that, and you try to let them breathe, but they you know that person just like, you doing nice, y'all doing good. You give him one compliment, and it's like
it's over with.
Snowball.
Yeah, he just going.
Congratulations, Wade Force, on y'all victory this week. That's what's gonna happen because he's talking way too much junk.
That's a different episode that we had with Jacksonville State last year.
Y'all gotta see that Jacksonville.
I gotta send you the clip of the prediction show, or when he said he couldn't take nothing from that game.
The prediction show, yes.
And we tried to tell him, hey, you can take something from every game, dude. Like, what are you talking about? And then the After Dark, where we have DSF After Dark, where it's basically NSFW. We say we want to say. And I'm gonna send you those two clips, too, because I want you to check them out.
When I tell you, I was at the prediction show, I'm laughing like the whole entire time. I was like, hey man, I know what Jacksonville State got because they're in the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
Transfer quarterback from Clemson.
Yeah, they got transfer from Clemson. They got transfer from from Arkansas. They had transfer from Georgia. The quarterback was a transfer. No, the offensive lineman was transfer from Georgia. And they had a pretty good high school quarterback who won 2 state championships. And I was like, hey, relax a little bit, man. These boys are pretty decent.
A lot of people don't remember. That's where what's our boy who got kicked off the team in 2007 from LSU. The quarterback.
Ryan Perilou.
That's where Perilou went.
Perilou went up there. So
Jacksonville State is
building.
And they always been that way because I'm from up that way. They always had great D1 transfers.
And especially
got Richard
coach. Look, I told Ben, I said, Ben, don't say that. I can't take nothing from it. I can't do this. I said, Ben, that night was comedic gold for down south football after dark. Bro,
I was seeing the clip.
I can't take nothing from it. I said, okay. And then that Hail Mary.
Jason played it. Oh boy. Hey man, look. I can't right now because this. I appreciate Pooh there, man. Hey. I can't wait till you see that comment. I'm gonna laugh. Oh my god! And you know, Dave was on here. Dave is an FSU fan.
Yeah, but
you could never know.
Right.
But Dave also said 2 years ago that his fandom was up for bid.
Yeah.
Oh man,
y'all boys crazy, man.
Hey man, that's why we got to get y'all on. I know we do shows at the same time, unfortunately, on especially I think Thursday. But man, I want y'all on there, man, for real, because that's what we do, man. We just we like to have a good time, but we get into the weeds of everything and every game and everybody, man. So you know,
we'll work something out, make something happen. But again, fellas, we'll this ain't gonna be the last time. Thank y'all for coming out. Now I will say this: Ben came on and Florida State won. If somehow Auburn win this game,
bro,
right?
Y'all ain't coming back.
Dave, Dave, I'm sorry, we want you on, but
hey man, come on, man, don't do me like that, man.
I'm just kidding, man. You know we love y'all. It's all love. We appreciate y'all, ladies and gentlemen. First off, let them know where they can find you.
You got it.
We can find us on YouTube at Down South Football Podcast, man. We actually got we're trying to get back to a road to 1,000, man. So hey, we're trying to give away at every single thing. So at 700, 800, 900 to 1,000, we never know who you're gonna pick. We just need everybody to subscribe, man. You can find us there also at DSL Podcast on Twitter and also Down South Football Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. But hey, we just want y'all to subscribe. Y'all subscribe here, just like we are subscribed here. We need y'all to subscribe for us too, man. You never know when we're gonna be or what we're gonna do. We cover all D1 football, cover HBCUs, we cover it all, man. If you like just a big general perspective of football, that's what we do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and as our guys, Mr. Renard Williams and Chauncey Tuck from.
Man, that's a good picture.
Man, hey, but made me feel like I look like I'm somebody or something.
All right, thank you, fellas, again for coming on.
Man.
And
all right, bro.
Look forward to having y'all on again.
All right, Pooh, and I'm gonna hit y'all up, man.
All right, y'all have a good one, bro.
All
right, bet.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Down South Football. All right, that was a good conversation. I learned a lot about Auburn. Let's talk about this. Because they brought up the Mississippi, not Mississippi. I'm sorry, not Montana State, Chris. Middle Tennessee State. Victor over Miami. Middle Tennessee State did not just look up and win yesterday. They dominated and destroyed Miami. I was literally on the road and somebody posted, man, look at this. And I think at the time it was 17-3. And I was like, oh man, they fluked up and got a few scores. I looked again and I was on the phone with my dad and I was like, I was telling, I was like, hey, Middle Tennessee winning, they beating Miami. He said, really, what's the score? I said 17-3. He was like, that's a lot of time left. I said, not really. I said, well, it's the second quarter. And by the time I said second quarter, the score was 24-3. I said, whoa. Then it was 31-3. Then it was 31. I'm sorry. Then it was 24-10. Then it was 31-10, 31-17. And no matter what Miami did, Middle Tennessee had an answer. They had scores of 98 yards, 69 yards, and I want to say another 80 yard. Yeah.
Terrible.
They talk so much this summer, bro. You'll think.
Yeah.
They talked me into thinking it was good, man.
Yeah, they literally, Miami fans started, it came into spaces. It came in LSU spaces. It started talking Miami 12-0, 12-0.
10-2.
And then it was Miami 11-1.
Mm-hmm.
I got recordings from their conversation yesterday from their space. They ain't talking all that now. You see,
I'll be surprised they win 6 games, bro.
Hey,
We'll see.
I'll say this. The state of Tennessee put a whooping on all of Florida, and in the words of Blake, they clapped a lot of cheeks. Tennessee clapped a lot of cheeks yesterday because the Tennessee Volunteers took down the University of Florida. The score in that game was not as close.
Nah.
At all. It was not a 5-point game. That was definitely a double-digit point game, but scores at the end changed that. Georgia had some slight struggles with Kent State. Kent State dropped 22.
They were sleepwalking through that game, bro.
Yeah, Kent State dropped 22. Georgia hadn't given up more than 10 points I think all season combined. If I'm not mistaken.
Remind me of that LSU and Louisiana Tech game a couple years ago.
Yeah. Clemson and USC survived. Clemson beat Wake Forest in overtime.
You could throw Michigan on that list too.
Michigan with Maryland. Michigan was a 17-point favorite. I knew that wasn't gonna go down like that. Yeah. Maryland offense is people are sleeping on Coach Loxley in Maryland. Maryland is doing some big things, moving the ball and everything. USC. Doug Williams. I'm not Doug Williams. Lord forgive me. Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley got it looking like Oklahoma of the West, of the far West.
Yeah, they went to a tough place though. Oregon State. It's like Auburn. It always get weird stuff happen when you go to Corvallis. But they came out and it was ugly, but they win.
If they Oklahoma of the West, it's still a little better than USC of Pac-12.
I don't know. Oklahoma lost yesterday.
Yes. Next topic. Kansas State owns Oklahoma. Don't matter the coach. Don't matter the year. Kansas State gonna put a clapping on Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a good old fashioned clapping too.
Hey, Deuce Vaughn for real though. That running back Kansas State got that look
Yeah.
good.
Number
He
22.
legit. He legit.
Yeah, so I think it's all we talked about a little bit. Parity around the NCAA is big.
Texas back.
Texas is
No.
Texas Tech.
Wrong Texas team.
Yeah. Texas Tech might be back. Texas is back in Austin. That's the only thing Texas is back. But they lost. They were up 24-10, I believe, and lost 27-24 in overtime.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Speaking of struggling, let's move on to the NFL. The Saints. Who that say they're gonna beat them Saints?
Themselves.
Everybody.
Themselves.
Pete Carmichael. We asked this. Who's to blame? Pete Carmichael, offensive line, Jameis Winston.
All of the above.
All the above, just not the defense. So now we'll ask this: injuries, because it seems like Taysom Hill is down right now. Kamara just came back. Jameis is struggling through back issues. Injury is a big concern.
James need to sit down with that back until you get right or something.
Is that on Jameis or is that on Dennis Allen?
Both.
Somebody got to be grown up.
As well, the coach got to protect the player from himself, and the player got to realize he hurting the team.
Right. I need to see. Well, you can't say that either. Everybody on offense need to improve, bro.
Pretty much.
I'm looking at. I was going to start NFL recap. Right now, San Francisco is playing Denver. The score was 7-3, but Jimmy Garoppolo just stepped out of the back of the end zone.
He just pulled a Dan Orlovsky.
Yes, he did, and the score is now 7-5 after a safety. So
they can't get Jimmy G off the field, baby.
Now looking at the rest of the scores from today, our man Joe Shiesty did lead the Bengals to a win in New York. They won 27-12, beating the Jets and to improve to 1-2. We talked about the Saints. I ain't say the score, but Panthers beat the Saints 22-14. Chicago Bears have improved to 2-1, beating the Texans 23-20 today. In what is the Lovie Smith Bowl. Lovie Smith returned to the Chicago Bears as the coach of the Houston Texans to get that win. Tennessee Titans squeaked out a win, beating the Raiders 24-22. The Colts shocked Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, winning 20-17 in a comeback win there. The Dolphins shocked the Buffalo Bills. And you had a crazy stat.
It's over with now.
It's over with now.
It's over with now.
But the Buffalo Bills lost 21-19. Actually had 2 chances to win that game.
Man, Josh Allen threw the ball like 60 times today.
He did. He was I'm looking at that. He was 42 or 63, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
And he had 8 carries for 47 yards.
63 pass attempts. It's crazy.
I know it showed the hurt.
He injured his hand too. That on one play, it would have been a touchdown. So
crazy, man.
Y'all hear that clicking?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Vikings. Vikings had a come. Detroit. You want to love Detroit, but
Jared Goff.
Yeah. The Vikings come back and beat Detroit 28-24. The Ravens jump all over the Patriots 37-26. Mac Jones went out late in the game with an injured ankle, so that's something to keep an eye on. The Eagles might we talking about back. The Eagles might be back. The Eagles might be legit. or they look legit so far. They won 24-8. I'm tripping. I ain't tripping.
Nah, I heard it too.
Okay. It's like a clicking, like some
but what is
tapping some, or I don't know. All right. Jaguars beat the Chargers 38-10.
Justin Herbert played with that broke rib or whatever, that rib cartilage or whatever.
But you can't say that. I think the Jags playing good ball. They just beat.
No, they are.
They are, but Justin Herbert didn't play.
Justin Herbert didn't play well neither, and he was playing injured.
Yeah. The Rams, 20-12. They beat the Cardinals. They're 2-1, but they are struggling 2-1.
Yeah,
the Falcons came back and beat the Seahawks 27-23. The Packers beat the Buccaneers 14-12, which the Bucs had a chance to. They tied the game up late. Russell Gage called a touchdown pass to give them the opportunity to tie the game up, but then the 2-point conversion was missed. And then you got on Thursday night, the Browns beat the Dog Breaks.
Amari Cooper, top 5 receiver in the league.
The Browns beat the Dog Breaks, or dog stuff out of the Steelers.
Chris, we're not doing this. Just stop.
I'm not. You see, I ignored that.
Hey,
That's what,
stats don't lie, baby. Stats don't lie.
All right, what's the stats then?
He's very consistent.
What's his stats?
He got 100 plus receiver yards 2 weeks in a row. Some of the top guys ain't did it. They ain't been consistent.
Who he played?
Played the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And who else? You said 2 weeks in a row. Who was the other team?
I forgot who they played the first week. I mean, the second week. I forgot who it was. I know.
If I'm not mistaken,
the Jets.
Yeah.
They ain't the NFL, bro.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, what he did, what's his numbers gonna be at the end of the year? Is he gonna be top 5?
Speaking of that, because Tyler Boyd,
I think so.
Tyler Boyd had, if I'm not mistaken, Tyler Boyd is 100 yards receiving back-to-back weeks. So is he?
Yeah, Tyler Boyd top 5 receiver.
He top 4.
Chris Olave had back-to-back 100-yard games. He top 5 receiver.
No.
I'm just based off your logic, he is.
But you can make an argument for Amari. You can't make an argument over their careers. Not for those guys.
You really can't make
over their careers.
Nah,
Amari Cooper ain't even close.
Amari Cooper ain't the top 5 receiver, dog. Stop it.
Come on, man.
It's not.
All right. Well, I do want to say this before we move on to altar call. This event is over, but you still can give. It's probably be the last time we bring it up. But the sickle cell riders trail ride, it should be concluding soon. If not, it's already concluded. If you need more information, you can reach out to Ms. Tasha Abear at 337-561-3150, or you can make a donation via Cash App at $TT Sickle Cell Riders. Every little bit helps. So we thank y'all for that. And yeah. All right. Well, we ready? We ready to go ahead?
Before we do altar call, I just got to say this. Shout out ULM for beating ULL last night.
They did.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's ULL. Yeah, we gave y'all that other L y'all be forgetting about.
All right. So it's that time. Let's go. All right, who want to go first? I might have to. Daniel had to leave us, so I may have to at least brush up on his topic because I think that's an important one too.
Yeah,
I'll go first. We can go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Chris. It's on you.
Yeah, I would just like to call my guy Matt House to the altar and tell him I appreciate how you got the defense playing, how they flying around the ball, they tackling well, and the pitcher shutout against anybody is great. So continue to do that, coach, and I think we'll have a good season.
All right, I'll go next. So everybody's done had that moment where your team lose and you do something stupid, whether you break a TV or whatever the case may be. Well, a student at the University of Utah took it overboard when they were arrested for posting a terroristic threat when they said that they would detonate a nuclear reactor on campus if the Utah Utes lost to San Diego State University. Well, luckily for everybody, Utah did not lose, but the person who made this threat, has been arrested. 21-year-old student at the university, but she took it a little too far. So she need to come down to the front, and she needs some prayer for that.
That's messed up. So the one I'm gonna talk about is yesterday we had two games that would basically change the play. One was actually the game was lost, and the other was a significant play that changed the game when the player, the ball carrier, basically tried to, I'm not gonna say do too much, but tried to take it upon himself and be the hero, win the game, and extend the ball out. You had the running back Pete from Missouri, who had the chance to seal, or basically set Missouri up in position to seal the game, putting them at the 1 yard line. But instead, he decides to reach the ball out. The ball leaves his hand, rolls to the back of the end zone where Auburn recovers it. The other is KJ Jefferson, who tried to jump over the pile against Texas A&M, fumbles the ball. Texas A&M then gets the ball and marches the other way in a play where the initial fumble recoverer is stopped, but he gets the ball to his teammate and they run it in and score. That changed the game pretty much significantly and forever. Sometimes you gotta. There's always that saying, "There's no I in team," and we know the quirks that there's an ME in there, but at the same time, it's a team game. You gotta hold on. Saying set your teammates up, let somebody else get the credit. You ain't got to do it all by yourself. That's all I got for that one. But I want to bring y'all back up because again, like I said, Daniel had to leave us, but Daniel had his altar call was Arizona State sabotaging Herm Edwards.
Yeah, bro, that's the staff. If that is true, and the staff was leaking information to opposing teams to try to get him fired, then they all need to be fired, and they don't need to be hired anywhere else.
Herm need to sue everybody in the university if they have.
And there were rumors that players were involved too.
And then, but people wonder why Jaden Daniels left Arizona State, and
that could have been the reason Jaden's stats didn't look good.
Yeah, that situation was so good over there. All this kind of grass ain't always what you think it is everywhere else.
Another thing, everybody who's complained about LSU and the way they're running things, I hope tonight's guest talking about Auburn situation make you feel a little bit more at ease. Exactly. Like some we just kept saying, the grass ain't always greener. But I think that's it, fellas. Again, want to thank the guys over at Down South Football for coming through, Renard and Chauncey. Thank Dave in the chat. Thank you, Ben, for coming on. And by the time you catch up, thank you.
He'll get there eventually.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining in, fellas. Y'all got anything before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, I'm good. I just want to say shout out to the Warhouse, baby. Talents out.
All right. And like that, we're out. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Twitter at Golden Boot. On Instagram at Golden Boot. On YouTube at The Golden Boot Pod. On Facebook at The Golden Boot Pod.
Golden Boot!